Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Last video that I uploaded was the video of me shaving my head. The last video got so many good reviews and good comments, and it got a great reach, and I'm so thankful for everybody who watched it. And if you haven't already watched it, please go and watch it. It was a really fun video to do. It included my boyfriend who helped me shave my head. Thank you to everyone who watched that video. Please go check it out before you watch this one. Today, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. My questions that I've took are from Instagram. I asked people on my Instagram what questions they want me to answer, and so I have 2 books full of questions because I lost this one, so I had to start all over again. But yeah, I'm going to be answering some questions today. Today's going to be an opportunity to find more out about me. You might know absolutely nothing, you might have followed me on Instagram, so you might know a little bit about me, but I'm going to just be answering loads of questions. Let's just get going. First question, what's your full name? My full name is just Rhiannon Carr. I don't have a middle name. None of my family members have middle names. My mom, my dad, my nana, my granddad, absolutely nobody has middle names in my family, and Rhiannon's a pretty long name to start with. My middle name was going to be Marshall. If I was going to have a middle name, the only middle name my mom was going to give me was Marshall after my granddad. So if I was going to be anything, I was going to be Rhiannon Marshall Carr. But yeah, no middle name, just Rhiannon Carr. How old are you? I am 22 as of the 16th of May. Literally the other day was my birthday. I had a nice day. It was just me and Jordan. We celebrated it, just the 2 of us, because obviously with quarantine and corona going on, I haven't been able to see any of my family. So it's been a really hard birthday recently. We had a nice chill day, and we've all said that after the lockdown's over that we can just get together and celebrate birthdays then. It's only a day. So my birthday is the 16th of May 1998, and I was born at 8:30 at night on a Saturday. How did you and Jordan meet? This is a question literally when I said to people, what questions do you want me to answer? People were like, how did you and Jordan meet? How did you and Jordan meet? Jordan and I met through tattooing, surprisingly. And I've known of Jordan on Instagram since I was about 14. He's beautiful, and I'd always fancied him from the minute I saw him, as probably did a lot of people. I never thought that I would meet him. I never thought that I would have been in a relationship with Jordan. The way that me and Jordan met was because he posted a portrait of Freddie Mercury that he wanted to do at a discounted rate. I just got my student finance through from university, and I thought, I want a tattoo, and I want this Freddie Mercury tattoo, and this tattoo was made for me. So I booked in, and I sat for about 7 hours and got my first Freddie Mercury tattoo. I have 2 Freddie Mercury tattoos now, but this was my first tattoo on this sleeve, and that was the start of it. And that's how me and Jordan met. It was tattoo artist-client relationship. That's the only time I met him, the first and only time I'd met him. And then about a week after we met, we hung out for the first time, ate some edibles, smoked some weed, and watched TV and movies and stuff. And it was purely friendly. It was never in a million years thought he would ever be interested in me as anything more than just a mate. And I genuinely mean that. I never thought this boy is gonna fancy me. Like, I didn't wear makeup when I went and got tattooed. I was wearing leggings that had holes in them and a baggy jumper, and I looked probably absolutely terrible. I wasn't in any way trying to impress him. I wasn't trying to get his attention anyway. He was my tattoo artist, and that was the way it was. After a week and then meeting up and getting to know each other as friends, I still didn't think that we would have ended up in a relationship. I still didn't think he would be interested in me. I was very much surprised that he was. And then after about a week of hanging out together and just literally after work spending time with each other and watching movies and watching TV and bonding that way, was the first time that we kissed. That's when I was kind of like, okay, this isn't going to be a friendship anymore. I was very surprised by that and so relieved, because after we'd spent about a week of just being friends, I was like, okay, I'm starting to catch feelings for this boy. And the whole time I was like, you need to keep yourself level, because he's not going to fancy you. He's not going to like you in the same way you like him. Of course you fancy him, but there's no chance he's going to like you back. And it ended up that he did, and I was very surprised by that. So yeah, we met each other through tattooing, and it wasn't until about a weekend that we ended up starting to get together, and then we weren't actually a couple until about a month after that. I would say about 3 weeks to a month after that we were like a couple. So yeah, that's how we met. How long was it until you and Jordan said I love you? A month and a half in, I would say, something like that. First of all, I do not condone drug use in any form. This story that I'm going to tell you is totally related to the fact that this is how we ended up saying that we loved each other. But I do not condone any drug use or anything like that on this channel. This is just my experience, and this is how this came about. We had I think we were on our second acid trip. We started tripping about a couple of weeks into meeting each other. We'd never tried psychedelics before. That's a lie. I tried them once before, Jordan had tried them once before, but not with each other. So we tried acid. On our second trip, we were just sitting on the sofa together, talking for hours and hours, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We were about 6 hours into a trip or so. Jordan was the first person to say it. Me being the way that I am, I thought I was going to be the one who would have had to have said I love you first, but actually during this trip Jordan turned to me and just said I love you, and I said it right back, and that's the situation in which we said I love you, and it was really great, and I could still literally remember it to this day. The walls were just melting into each other, and when you're looking at somebody when you're on acid as well, like everything is so like bright and illuminated, and you can basically feel the other person's like energy, and it was such a magical moment, and it's something I'll always remember because it was a really good time, and it was such a fun time for both of us, and it really brought us together, and our relationship really grew because of the use of psychedelics. Like I said, I don't encourage that. I don't encourage any kind of behaviour. That's just mine and Jordan's personal experience. But yeah, that's how we ended up saying I love you, and that was when it was. I'll always remember that. How many tattoos do you have? This is a hard one because it's getting to the point now where I don't count them anymore. When you first get tattoos, you're like, oh, I've got 10 tattoos or I've got 13 tattoos, but I kind of lost count at number 16, 17. I think I'm on about 22 or 23 now if I was to count them, but they all just kind of merge into one. Obviously having a full sleeve, all of these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sittings on this arm. So this is like 6 different tattoos, but when you look at it all together, you don't ever count it as 6, it's just one sleeve. But I think I do have around about 22 tattoos, 23 at this point. Most painful place you've been tattooed? The most painful tattoo I ever had is this one of my Johnny Cash on the outside of my forearm. This was the second tattoo Jordan ever did after my Freddie Mercury on the inside of my forearm, which killed, but it was fine. I cried almost the whole way through this, and that's not like me. I'm really hard when it comes to getting tattoos. I fell asleep during this one. Some people say the back of your bicep was one of the tenderest parts to get done. Everybody's different, everyone's pain tolerance is different. Outside of my forearm, absolutely killed, and I don't know why. I think I was just really tired and having a bit of a bad day. When you're not in the right mindset for a tattoo, if you're tired or if you're hungry or anything slightly affecting you, your pain tolerance is just depleted at that point. If not that one, I have a tattoo on the back of my neck which is only small and it's only line work, and that really hurt. And I've got both my ribs tattooed, and these two were the most painful tattoos I've ever gotten. How did you get into modelling, and any advice? I first got into modelling when I was 14. I went for a photo shoot at a studio with my mum just because I wanted to try it. My parents weren't very keen on me trying to get into modelling. It's understandable. It's a very difficult and sometimes dangerous industry to get into if you're not too careful, but I started about 14, 15, and then I kind of did some TFP shoots, which is trade for pics, which is where you and a photographer work together just to get photos and no one gets paid. I did TFP shoots up until I was about 17, 18. I was in Miss Newcastle 2017 and I came 3rd, so that was cool. I was supposed to do 2018 and I dropped out and I didn't want to do it. Pageants aren't for me, they never really have been. I'm not as you can tell, I'm not a pageant girl. Back then I had far less tattoos when I was 17, 18, but I still had quite a few. And pageants are really difficult, they're quite bitchy and they're really long and stressful and they require a lot of hard work, and it just wasn't really what I was interested in doing. After I did the pageant, I had worked with a few different like small businesses, say like eyelash companies and aesthetics companies and things like that. And then just these past 8 months or so, I've been working for Disturbia, who are an alternative clothing brand, and that's who I have been working for recently. What advice would I give when it comes to getting into modelling? Just be careful. Be very wary, be very careful with who you choose to work with, make good decisions, do not feel that you have to ever do anything you don't want to do. If anybody ever asks you to do something you're uncomfortable with, say no and walk away. That's all you need to do. There are many people out there, whether that be photographers, other models, creatives in any way, who try and take a lens of aspiring young models, whether that's male or female, and they'll tell you the things that you want to hear in order to try and get something out of you, whether that's trying to get you to work for free or cheap, whether that's trying to get you to do more provocative, nude, semi-nude, anything that you really aren't comfortable with. So I would definitely say just be safe, be sensible, be smart. Let someone know if you're going on a photo shoot on a location, or if you're going to somebody's house or you're going to a studio. Let somebody know where you're going, let them know the address, let them know how long you plan on being there, who the person is. There are a lot of people who aren't very nice, and a lot of people who will try and take advantage. Would you like to get married and have children? Yes, definitely, 100%. Me and Jordan have talked about this. We definitely want to get married to each other. I keep dropping hints all the time about engagement rings. We've been together 2 years now, and I'm like, engagement rings, Jordan, engagement rings. But we want to spend time together, just the two of us, for as long as we possibly can before we start thinking about bringing another little person into the world. Another little person? A little person. We don't have any. I definitely do want to get married, and I definitely do want children, or a child. One will be fine. I'm not one of these people who are like, oh, I want like 5 kids. I'm from a single parent household. I'm an only child. Jordan's one of 4, so 1, 2 at a push would be cool. One would be fine. I would be totally happy with 1 baby. But yeah, me and Jordan love each other very much, and we want to spend time together, the 2 of us, and travel, the 2 of us, and see the world, just the 2 of us, before settling down and committing to bringing a baby into the world, and then devoting all our time to that child instead of kind of spending it just the 2. We love spending time together, just the 2 of us, the way that it is, and we're very happy living that way right now. But we could always get married and not have babies for a while, so that would be cool. Where did you spend your childhood / stories about growing up? I spent my childhood on a very, very small island in Northumberland called North Blythe. It's in an area called Camas. It's an old mining village, an old pitman town, and it's beautiful. It's in between the River Blythe and the North Sea. It's genuinely like an island, and I spent most of my childhood playing on the beach with my friends, or playing at the park. I'm trying to think of childhood stories. We used to go rock pooling all the time. I went to a really small first school. I was like the only girl in my year until about year 3 or 4. So I had just male friends in first school. So I was always a tomboy. I was always playing football and trying to join in with the boys because I didn't have any female friends to play with. It's very cool growing up on the beach. Within a stone's throw of the beach. I always was on the beach on the sand with my dogs, and sometimes I'd be fishing with my dad. How did you discover your style? I've been a tomboy literally forever, so I've always like preferred to be in jeans and t-shirts and things like that. I'm not a girly girl by any means. I'm not into pink and girly flowers, anything like that really. Comfy clothes, I love comfy clothes. But I would definitely say that over the last few years, Jordan's helped me find my style a lot more as well, because Jordan's really good with clothes and style and things like that. He's worked for some amazing clothing brands, and like I had no style awareness whatsoever until I met Jordan. So I would definitely say that my style was heavily influenced by meeting Jordan as well. We wear black and we're quite alternative. I also just like wear long baggy t-shirts, boy clothes, very tomboyish. That's my kind of style. What did you want to be when you were growing up? I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to work with animals. I love animals. I always have done, I always will do, and that's what I wanted to do. And then you realise that you actually have to have like A stars across the board to consider being a vet. I worked as a apprentice veterinary nurse for a while. I had to stop because the rate of pay was so low, and I was travelling an hour there and an hour back, and it was so sad because I would have loved to have carried on doing veterinary nursing. I would have loved to have been a vet, but it's so hard, and it's such a hard job to get into, and it's so long to go to university that I just don't think I could have done it. But in another life, I would have loved to have been a vet. Favourite movies and favourite actors. Okay, so my top favourite movies, Goodfellas for definite. Goodfellas is one of my favourite films of all time. I have 2 Goodfellas tattoos. I love gangster movies and Martin Scorsese. Gladiator is another one of my absolute favourite movies of all time. Just stunning. I'm hugely into history. I love anything historical, whether that's ancient Greece, ancient Rome, World War I, World War II, that kind of thing. I'm massive into my history. So Gladiator is definitely up there with like my favourite films of all time. My favourite actors, I would say Marlon Brando is definitely one of my favourite actors. I would pour it with Marlon Brando. Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, female actresses, Charlize Theron, Natalie Portman. I love Natalie Portman. What's her name from Midsommar? Florence Pugh. I love her. I think she's brilliant. I love Tarantino movies. I love David Fincher movies. I am an absolute movie snob, an absolute film fanatic. There's not many movies that you'll find that I don't love. I'm open to all as long as they're brilliant films, and even I love some terrible movies as well. So favorite TV shows: Breaking Bad, definitely. Kingdom, I don't know if you guys love seeing Kingdom. It's on Netflix at the minute. It's quite new, but it's so good. It's South Korean horror. It's kind of zombie apocalypse-y, but the budget for each episode was like over $1 million, and when you watch it, it is just next level phenomenal. There's no words for that program. I love Kingdom so much. Breaking Bad is definitely one of my absolute favorites. I've got so many Breaking Bad posters and Breaking Bad memorabilia around the house. Me and Jordan are obsessed with Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad so much. Where's your favorite place to go on holiday? My favorite place, and Jordan will agree with this, is Fort Ventura. We absolutely love it. I've been to Fort Ventura about 3 or 4 times now. Me and Jordan went together for the first time last year, and it's just, that's where we want to be. That's where we want to live. It's beautiful. It's so peaceful and calm. The people are amazing. It's such a beautiful island, not far off the coast of West Africa, in the Canary Islands, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. We were supposed to be going around about this time now. Had the Rona not popped up, we would have been away probably around about now, and thank God we didn't book it. Other than that, I've been to Berlin, I've been to Norway, both very beautiful places. I would also really love to go to Rome, Italy. I would love to go to Pompeii and the Colosseum, and just do all the historical things, because that is just me all over. I would die to go there. And now Jordan is obsessed with Greek mythology and Roman mythology just as much as me, so it would be amazing to say go to like the Temple of Zeus and visit all of the sites across Greece and Italy. That would be the dream. I would love to do that. Also, I would love to see the pyramids in Egypt as well. So anything that's historical related, you can count me in. Have you ever met somebody famous? I met Lee Evans. If you don't know who Lee Evans is a British comedian. If you don't know who Lee Evans is, you need to sort that out. I met Lee Evans because I queued for a book signing with him for about 5-6 hours, and it was so good. He's absolutely one of my idols. I was about 14 when I did that. I was wearing a blue coat and he complimented my coat, and he was like, "Oh, where did you get your coat from? I love your coat. My daughter would love that coat." And I was like, "Oh my god, I got from New Look. Here." I walked past Bill Nighy in London once. If you don't know who Bill Nighy is, look him up. He's in lots and lots of things. He was just walking in Shepherd's Bush in London, just walking down the street, and I turned around and I was like, "Oh my god, that was Phil." I walked past Mark Wahlberg in Kensington, and I think it was a Wednesday, and it would have been around about the time, it was about 2016, and it would have been when he was filming for Graham Norton Show. And I remember walking past and I was like, this is the most famous person I think I've ever seen. Mark Wahlberg. Like, what? What is your star sign? I'm a Taurus. I'm very much a Taurus. Jordan's a Gemini. We get on really well because we're so similar. My birthday is the 16th of May, his is the 8th of June. We're very close in terms of star signs interacting. So we have so many similarities, but actually we're very different in lots of ways. Jordan is an introvert, I'm an extrovert. I can be very stubborn. I'm very affectionate, I'm very loving. I'm very down to earth, I can be very comfortable. I'm more than happy just living my life comfortably and easily, and being grounded, for like very sound and grounded for the rest of my life. So I'm very, very much a Taurus. Most ridiculous thing you've ever had to go to hospital for? How much time do we have? As a child, I was massively accident prone. Every other week I was breaking a bone. The most ridiculous thing I've probably ever been in hospital for? There's so many. My horse ran clean at the back of my head and knocked me over, and I had to be put in traction for 8 hours, lying flat, counting the tiles on the ceiling for 8 hours straight. That was really hard. I've been bitten by a rat before, and I had to go into hospital and get a tetanus shot because I could have gotten rat fever. Got bitten by a dog in London. I had to go into hospital for that because I almost got a blood infection from getting bitten by a strange dog. That was my own fault. Don't touch people's dogs. Just don't touch strange dogs. I still have the scar on my finger for where that dog bit me. I've broken both my legs, I've broken both my arms, my wrists. Possibly one of the weirdest things happened when I was really young. When I was really small, probably only about a year old, my mum was bathing me, and as she got out to get, she was in the bath with me, and when she got out to get a towel, she turned around, and by the time she turned around, my finger and my thumb, was this one, was stuck down the plug hole, and I'd stuck my finger and thumb in the plug hole. She started freaking out and she was trying to pull my finger up, and my fingers were jammed. She managed to get my finger up, my thumb was still stuck in the plug hole, and by this point I was sobbing, screaming. Luckily my nana and granda live over the road. They came over and they managed to pull the plug out of the bath, and I had to go to hospital with this plug hole stuck on my thumb. But I can't remember any of this because I was so young, but according to my mum, the doctors were like, okay, we can't get our thumb out, and if we don't get this thing off our thumb in the next 5 minutes, we're gonna have to take her into surgery and amputate our thumb because our thumb is just gonna die. Thank God, a few minutes later they managed to find a ring cutter and they clipped it, and they managed to get the plug hole, the plug detached from my thumb. And it's so scary to think that I was just minutes away from literally not having the thumb. And it's not like losing a finger, which I'm sure is just as horrible. Losing a thumb, like losing an opposable digit that you need to grab things on my left hand I would have grown up not knowing any different, but it's so crazy thinking that I literally could have had one thumb. Stupid child. First concert you ever saw. The first concert I ever went to was a Gareth Gates concert. I fell asleep halfway through when I was 5 years old. I had a massive crush on Gareth Gates. I've been to a few concerts, I've seen quite a few people. Me and my mum went to quite a lot of concerts growing up when I was little. We've seen Kylie, we saw Michael Bublé, Enrique Iglesias. My mum always used to take me to concerts, but Gareth Gates was the first concert I ever went to, and it was so loud that I cried. I hated it. I was so scared of the sound that I sat with my hands over my ears the whole time, and then I fell asleep. So that was a really good first concert. Favourite books. At the minute, I'm reading American Psycho. I'm about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through. My favourite books, I love The Handmaid's Tale. I read it on holiday and I flew through it, and I thought it was probably one of the best books I've ever read, ever. Anything by Mallory Blackman. I love the Noughts and Crosses trilogy slash quadrilogy. The Gone series by Michael Grant, that I read those growing up, and they are amazing books for young adults, but they're really cool. Anything historical in any way I'll read. Any book really I'll read. How many pets do you have? In our house, me and Jordan, we just have Stella. Currently at my mom's house, not that I live there anymore, but they are my animals still. I have 2 Bedlington Terriers, Luna and Loki, and I have a French Bulldog called Louis, who I miss so much because I haven't been able to see any of them. I have 2 cats, Freddie and Rogan. Freddie, named after Freddie Mercury. Rogan, named after Joe Rogan, my favourite comedian. Also Seth Rogen. It was kind of like a weird combination. It was Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna name this cat Rogan. I have an eclectus parrot called Charlie. She's an absolute nightmare, but she's brilliant. She's just a baby. She's only about 4 or 5, but she's good fun. She talks and she's very clever. She's too clever, and she's really naughty, and she bites really, really hard. I have a tortoise called Torty, who I've had since I was about 14, 15. Who will live until I'm dead, probably. They can live until about 100. And I have a horse as well, Rodney, who I've had since I was about 14. He's a Welsh Section D, he's chestnut, and he's gorgeous. He's an old boy now, he's nearly 23, but he's still in good shape. He's kind of like my horse and my mom's horse now. He's gorgeous, and I miss him a lot. I've, over the years, rescued guinea pigs, rabbits, hares, that was dangerous, starlings, baby ducks that then grew up into big ducks, and then I released them because they were far too big, and then I kept them in my bath until they got too big, and then I released them. Chameleons, turtles, anything you can think of, chances are I've had it because I'm absolutely obsessed with any kind of living creature whatsoever. Stoner to stoner, what is your favourite strain? My favourite strains are usually a sativa strain, usually a haze, whether that's purple haze, lemon haze. I love White Widow. I'm very much a sativa person. I love golden haze, strawberry haze, lemon haze. Anything haze, beautiful. I'm never a fan of Stardog, and everybody in our mom seems to love Stardog because it's one of the easiest things you can possibly get. I hate it. I have been smoking since I was about 18, 19. We're actually taking a big tolerance break. We haven't smoked in a long time at the minute. I'm enjoying it. It's cool being sober, and it's fun to be able to just have a break, because when you smoke and ingest cannabis for a long time your tolerance is so high that you kind of forget what it's like to not be high. You forget what it feels like to be giggly high, and that kind of just goes away. It'll be fun to be able to get back into smoking at another point where maybe our tolerances will have dropped considerably and we'll be able to get giggly high again, because I miss the giggles, because those kinds of things leave when you've been smoking for so long, or when you smoke, or when you've been having edibles for so long. It's hard, and your tolerances is so high. Jordan's is sky high. Those are all the questions that I have. I might do another Q&A another time. I definitely am considering doing a boyfriend-girlfriend Q&A, boyfriend tag. So if you'd like to see a Q&A with me and Jordan where we answer questions about each other or ask each other questions about each other and our relationship, please comment and please like, so I know that you guys want to see that. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you like this video and what other questions you have. I might do a part 2 to this if there's more questions that I haven't answered. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!